Hey everyone, and welcome to Marketing Monday with the Watertown SBDC. And our topic today is Houston, we have a cart problem. I guess I was in a bit of a mood when I set this up. And I'm joined by Erica Davis with the Watertown Oswego SBDC, who is one of the advisors and a business owner herself. And Erica, what's going on with the SBDC, either coming up or just things that we should know in general before we get started?
Yes. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And I just want to say I am actually a disaster recovery consultant for the Watertown SBDC. Right, we have a lot going on right now, including our Marketing Mondays, of course. And one of the most important things is just to always remind people that the Watertown Oswego SBDC is here to help anybody who is exploring business ownership, who already has a business and is looking for some growth, assistance with their growth. Anything that really is needed that way for business owners is a free service to you through the SBDC. So we always want to make sure people remember that, that's super important to us and can really be a huge help and resource to your businesses. So other than that, we have an ongoing safety series going on right now. So if there are any manufacturers on with us today, super important to be keeping your employees and your staff, your employees and your customers safe in your place of business. And we've got some ones coming up specific to certain businesses like salons and spas, agriculture, auto repair, and those kinds of things. So this is also free training for business owners to make sure that you're doing everything you need to do to keep your workplace safe. So other than that, I think I'll hand it back over to you, Nicole, and look forward to talking, and I'm sure all going to be learning a little bit more about shopping carts today. So,
well, there's always things, and as I was pulling this together, I was looking at my own shopping cart and thinking, maybe I should implement more of these. So there's always new things to be doing. So yeah, so
I'm sure that's the thing is like ever changing. I'm sure, right? As far as what's out there to be,
totally. All right, so I'm going to present very briefly. I made some slides, you guys. So basically, last week we talked a little bit about the anatomy of a great product listing. So if you didn't see that, go ahead and check that out. The other thing too is, what Erica was mentioning with the upcoming workshops for the safety series, even if you're not a salon owner or whatever, if you're a fellow local business owner and you know a salon owner, send them this video, tag them in it. So sometimes there's information that's not useful for you, but that might be useful to a friend. And that's part of being a good small business owner in a community. So today we're talking about online shopping carts and basically finding potential problems with them. Now, I'll be the first one to say my cart has problems too. This is not at all a judgment about shopping carts, but I guess the concept I want to talk a little bit about today is this idea of understanding what your online conversion rate is with your shopping cart. So basically, this is like, kind of some fifth grade math, but it's fun because it involves you making money. So there is the amount of visitors to your website who make a purchase. And if you divide that by the total amount of visitors your site has and multiply it by 100%, you get a percentage. So a conversion rate is a percentage. And you can do this math yourself, obviously. If you own a business, you are smart enough to do this math. But if you also don't feel like doing this math, your shopping cart software likely has this built in. So I just grabbed an example of, this is an example Shopify cart. So it shows the conversion rate of that cart is 5.29%. So we see the amount of people who kind of came to the site and who reached the checkout and who actually finished the checkout process. So not everyone who comes to your site buys something. I know that's pretty obvious, but and then if you run a different kind of software, it might look different. So this is an example Wix one. As you see, the green line there is the actual conversion rate. So, and it changes obviously over time. And that makes sense, right? You're not consistently going to convert always at the same rate, but it's good for you to know what order of magnitude that you're in. Now, the average cart converts at between 2 and 3%. And, it's, if you want to, I guess, independently verify this, there is lots of websites who talk about it, but I'll just show you really briefly one of the websites I found. Oops, that's not the right thing. There's the average conversion rate. I'm like, that's not the graph I was looking for. So you see here that average e-commerce conversion rate globally is 2.58%. Again, this is from Q2 of 2019, these numbers in the middle of the screen, but at least you get the idea of, what you can expect, which is probably somewhere between, 1 and 3% for the average small business. So what are you supposed to do with this information now that you've done the 5th grade math? What are some of the ways that you can improve things? Well, I don't know about you, but I like to work smarter and not harder. I mean, I think we all do. I made this really fake example. Obviously, if you made $100 a month, you'd be very, very sad. It's not a lot of money, and hopefully you have other ways to make money. But in this fake example, if 100 people come to your website and your website converts at 1%, that means one person has made a purchase. And let's say your average order value is $100 a month. So in this theoretical month, you've had 100 people come to your site, one person made a purchase of $100, and you've made $100 that month. So there's kind of 3 ways, if you think about this math, that you could make more money with your online shopping cart. And the first thing, which is what most people go to, is by sending more people to your website, right? It's a bit of a numbers game. So if you're not making the sales, right? If you send 200 people to your website instead of 100, well, instead of one person buying, you have 2, right? And if you have the same order value, instead of making $100 a month, now you're making $200 a month. So that's option 1. Now, the thing with option 1 is it takes some effort, right? You have to, improve your website in search engines, and you have to maybe do marketing to drive traffic. So it's not this thing that you do once and get to just take advantage of. The second thing, though, we have is increasing the average order value. Now, the easiest way to do this typically is to have free shipping at a certain point. Now, when I'm shopping the small business, I do not expect free shipping on orders over $25. I don't mind spending some money to get free shipping, but we just need to communicate what that is to people. So if we increase the average order value, and I'm assuming that most people don't go online shopping and decide to spend twice as much as they were expecting to, but maybe we can eke out another $25. So maybe we can change the average order value from $100 to $125. So again, same traffic, same conversion rate. You're making a little bit more money. You're making $125 a month. Yes, you can, like I said, incentivize people purchasing more through a variety of methods. Like I said, I'll pretty much do anything for free shipping, and looking at stats, it seems like other people will do that too. But if you want kind of the lazy way to do this, and I mean this in the best way, like a good lazy way, is what you can do is you can increase the conversion rate of your cart. So these are changes that you experiment with, that you make once, and that will continue to have benefits over time. So let's say that those same 100 people come to my website, and instead of converting at 1%, I convert at 2%. So I just made these little changes to my cart, and now I'm making double the money that I was making because I've increased my conversion rate. And it looks like a small amount by 1%, but it's worth some money, right? So what I'm going to do with this next slide is make a series of suggestions. I'll show you examples of some of the ones that are maybe a little bit less familiar, but just to kind of put them in your mind. And what I don't want you to do is think, oh my God, I have to do all these things before the holidays, because that's not the case. Even if you look at this list I'm about to give you and say, okay, I'm going to do one of these things, and I'm going to try to increase my conversion rate. I'm trying to bump it a little bit higher, maybe not even a full percentage, maybe even 0.5%. The idea is if you make these changes over time, your website will continue to see the benefits. So I tried to kind of divide these, ways to make your cart convert better into sort of categories of ideas. And I'm not saying that some of these can fit into more than one category. I just was trying to neaten it up so that the list felt a little bit organized. The first thing, and I would say this is for the most part for small websites, is that people have to trust your website. They don't know that you take their data seriously and that you're really careful about encrypting things. So, for example, I have an e-commerce site, and I have the option of, sort of showing when sales happen. I called it a sales pop-up, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just show you what that looks like. Full disclosure, this site is in the process of being redesigned, so, don't judge it too harshly. But I was trying to find an example that was not this before we started, but there we go. There's this little pop-up that happens when you go to the site, and it tells you when someone has made a purchase. So what that does is it shows that someone has made a purchase. So it says, made this purchase 5 days ago. And if you click on it, you'll be taken to that product. Now, what happens when people I haven't had a lot of purchases in the last week, guys. Just the one. It's not what I spend a lot of time on, sadly. But point being is that if people see that someone bought something, they're a little bit more likely to trust it, right? And the other thing, obviously, is, if people see that people are leaving reviews, right, of a product. Now, I don't know. I've been avoiding a certain call from a certain healthcare organization that wants me to take a 10-minute survey. And if I just took a 10-minute survey anytime I interacted with a company, I would just be on the phone all day. So I need a little incentive maybe to leave a review. I'm not saying you have to give me anything free, but like maybe I get like points or a percentage off, or like, I don't know. But there's just some point of me leaving a review. Can be nice. So if people trust your very small business website, that's one way that I think you can increase your conversions. And you just have to show that, hey, this is a real legit website and real people are making purchases on it. The second thing we want to do is maybe generally reward behavior. Again, I was mentioning that these things kind of overlap a little bit, but free shipping and figuring out what it would take to get there. As I said earlier, I'm not expecting to go to a small business website and spend $25 and get free shipping. I do not mind spending more money, in particular if you have like multiple products. So figure out what your threshold is to be able to offer free shipping, and a majority of your customers will throw stuff in the cart until they get there, myself included. I'm speaking as purchaser Nicole, not internet marketing person Nicole here. But and the other thing you can do, obviously, is you can have some kind of rewards program. So anytime someone, makes a purchase, maybe they get a point. And if they get a certain amount of points, they get, but just something about like rewarding the behavior is nice. And if people really like your products, you can maybe start some kind of affiliate program. We talked about that in a previous broadcast. So if that sort of intrigues you, feel free to go back wherever you're watching this and you'll be able to see that broadcast. But point being is, we want to kind of, besides saying, and it's really important to buy local, we just don't need to. I'm just not a big fan of the guilting people into buying local. I'm saying that you're the business owner and you want to reward your loyal customers. And I think it's a good way to do it. The other thing is that your website feels very familiar to you. You built it or you helped to build it and you know where everything is. But what you forget is that people who've never been to your website or have only been a couple of times don't know where things are. So what we need to do is make things findable. Need to have a search feature. So if I'm looking for a certain product, I can just type it in and it'll come up. Categories and tags. So if I'm looking at t-shirts, that it'll show me other t-shirts, so that if I don't, let's face it, we've all sometimes see the thumbnail of the t-shirt and we click on it and we're like, oh no, not that. So it's nice to see other t-shirts, right? And something super low tech, guys, that you can do is make a gift guide on your website. Just write a blog post or stick a page on your website and be like, here is a gift for every person in your life in this store. And what you can do to make that is just look at super common like gift categories, like for grandparents, for people who like to travel. If you go to like 5 or 6 online stores and then look at their categories, you'll have an idea of like the categories of people you need for your gift guide, and then make recommendations as to what's in your store in that gift guide. Like I said, it's low tech. You are just basically taking the content on your website and making it organized for the people who are visiting it. And people love gift guides. They love linking to them. They're like nice holiday related content. Anyway, point being is like, make it so that people can find the different products on your site in different ways. Because like I said, just because you know where stuff is does not mean everybody else does. And finally, there's just some general website usability. You probably have figured out, maybe from looking at your web stats, that most of your customers are coming from a mobile device. They're doing their shopping while they're sitting on their couch, maybe watching some Hallmark movies and drinking some coffee, because they want to shop local online. So you got to make sure your website's, mobile friendly, that it doesn't take forever to load. Something that I did that really helped my conversion rate was I started to take PayPal as a form of payment. I'm not saying you have to take PayPal, but not just taking one form of payment. So I obviously accept credit cards, but I turned on PayPal just for fun about, I don't know, second year that I was in business. And now 3 out of 5 purchases come through PayPal. And I think the reason for that is that PayPal has this reputation for protecting customers. And so if someone is putting their credit card into a new site, it can feel like, oh, is the site safe? Like, I don't know. So they might just use PayPal. And so there are ways that you can, like I said, make the website usable. And I will say abandoned cart emails work really well. They don't work on me, but again, I'm not everybody, but they work on a fair bit of people. And they're typically pretty easy to turn on in your online shopping cart system. So, yeah, I think I'm trying to think of, yeah. And, there's all the minutia you can get into. Like there are people who literally study whether shopping cart buttons should be green or red and like test and like, oh, red converts at 17% better or whatever. And once you get to that point in your shopping cart life, you can, you make these kind of larger changes that make things work better. And then you can start making these little tweaks. So it's kind of like owning a website is kind of like owning a really big house. You're just, an old house. There's always something to work on. And I guess I'm not saying that to make anyone feel discouraged, but just so that like I have things on this site that I'm in the process of fixing right now on my own site. So, yeah, I guess that's about all I got for the cart stuff. Is there anything that content-wise you feel like we should add in here before we look at some example websites that you found, Erica, here in the local area?
I don't know. I think the only thing that really came up for me, and I think too, like what you were saying, as far as make it findable, make it easy, make it safe. Those basic things, that are going to keep somebody coming back, and not getting frustrated, because that's my whole thing as far as like looking for websites or, especially local businesses that are trying to work all this out and add it to their to-do list. I think it's the biggest things are just that making it easy to find things and not having your shopping cart, you can't find your shopping cart. So we can definitely look at those examples. There was one other thing that was it's just interesting, that conversion rate. And it's like, that must feel, especially for retailers who are trying to, increase their product sales and that kind of thing online, that conversion rate must seem a little small.
Well, and I guess that's why I wanted to give an average, because I don't know, like when I started email marketing and I saw like my open rate was like 23%, I was like really discouraged. And then I looked and it was like the average open rate at that time was 15%. And I was like, okay, so sometimes it's nice to have a bit of a frame of reference.
Yes.
But that's the reason that people are obsessed with like search engine optimization and other kind of free ways to drive traffic, right? Is that it's a bit of a numbers game. If you send more traffic, you will get more purchases. But in particular, as small businesses, people find our website online, they're worried that maybe we're a little rinky dink or like I said, that we don't take security seriously or whatever. So we need to assure them that they can make a purchase on our site. It's going to be safe and all of that. So yes, Erica found some really great local examples. And so I'm going to pull them up here. And so this is one, Winona Creek. So again, these are all Northern New York businesses. So, and let's take a look at their Connect catalog. Okay. It looks like they have rewards. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. And they do have a nice like array of departments, right? And I also saw, I think that they're doing a good job with sort of some new and noteworthy, which is a great, way to attract people. Are you finding it? Oh, okay. Wait. You're looking for.
I'm looking for new and noteworthy. Am I missing it here?
Yeah, I think, let's see, I'm having a hard time seeing it. Maybe I can increase the size on my end here.
Oh, fresh. Oh, there they are. There they are. I just like to scroll more. It's just a longer website. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I might have been looking at that from another site that we're going to show too that says new and noteworthy versus fine. So sorry about that. That's my fault.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Well, and I like, the other thing too is, and this happens to me whenever I see a product on the A Word website, I always look at the name of the business and I find their website to go buy it on. And what happened was there was this cute little planter I wanted to put in my mom's Christmas stocking last year. And I went to their website and they only had 3 products. They had the same planter in 3 colors. And I needed to spend like $150 $50 to like get free shipping. So I got there and I was like, oh, I really want to buy from these people. I ended up not buying either of them, by the way. I didn't buy it on the A site and I didn't buy it on their site. But if you give a variety of products at a variety of price points, it's nice. And I like this site because, look, there's like $5 items. There's $20 items. It looks like
it really looks like they have, expansive, most of their product line online, which is nice, especially if somebody's used to shopping in their store and they just want to go online, for the holidays and shop with them. That's really nice. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes when I'm in the store, I don't necessarily see everything. Whereas if it's all in here, I can be like relaxed at home and I can like look at stuff. Maybe they give me the measurement of this chain and I can be like, oh, I wonder if that's the same length as that other chain that I like. And I can go, into my jewelry box and I can measure that chain and check.
Right.
So I just like shopping this way generally.
And I think if you click on like a product and put it in the cart, I think they do a good job of, just keeping it simple. I actually really, I don't know what app they're using. Do you know, Nicole?
I think, hold on. I'm trying to remember Shopify.
It's Shopify.
Yeah, on the very bottom. Yeah. I
like the shopping bag for the cart up in the right-hand corner instead of the cart like the A site has. I like that it's a little, Shopify does that a little bit differently, but we talked about this last week, but it's up there in the right-hand corner where we're used to seeing it, right? There was an example, I did end up making the purchase online, but I recently made a purchase where the shopping cart was just in a really strange place. I don't know what app they were using or, that kind of thing, but it confused me. And, if it had gone on for a few, and maybe that's not their fault just entirely, but if it had gone on, a little bit longer where I couldn't find it or whatever, they might've lost me. So I do think that in some ways, Amazon has it figured out as far as where people look for that shop. They trained us well, right? For that reason. So, but I think it is helpful when it can be there where we're used to seeing it, for sure.
Yeah, and there's certain conventions we just have to accept as people who manage websites. So the logo is typically in the upper left or in the center of the page. The navigational menu is in the left side on the left sidebar of the page or on the top. The search button and the cart icon are in the upper right corner. Like that's just where they are. And, if you try to I remember I had a client I was doing work for and he did not want a navigational menu. And I was like, he's like, I just don't like the way it looks. And I was like, listen, and I get it. He was like a photographer and he really wanted his photos to stand out and he didn't want the navigational menu. And I said, well, how are people going to get to anything? Unless they scroll into infinity. So sometimes even if something doesn't look the way we want or whatever, we have to accept kind of where people are looking for these design conventions. Look, they have multiple ways to pay. They have GPay, they have Google Pay. This is awesome. And so I'm going to click checkout and just see what this is like. Now, if you're looking at this, there is typically a way in whatever website software you're using, and you can see how many people look at a product, how many people add it to the cart, how many people start the checkout process and then finish the checkout process. So if you see that there's a massive amount of people leaving, so for example, let's say they get to this page and a bunch of people leave, but you have registration turned on and you're forcing people to register for the site, but they don't want to. It's worth changing some stuff. Now, as you see, it looks like they will continue. It looks like they will take, I'm guessing once we get past here, they would take a credit card number. You don't have to shop with Google Pay or Facebook Pay. I'm guessing you can also just buy with just a regular credit card too. They're just offering, they're just offering these sort of online wallet solutions because theoretically, if you use Facebook Pay or Google Pay or Apple Pay or any of the other ones, your information is stored. Amazon Pay, Amazon has a payment thing. Your information is stored there. Your credit cards are stored there, your shipping addresses, and it just saves you from doing some data entry, especially when you're on a mobile device. It's annoying to type everything on a mobile device. So it's nice to give people that option if they do want to purchase quickly. You want them to purchase quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. And it's really, it said, so I really wish I knew how much the free shipping was. Cause like, I kind of just want to put a bunch of stuff in the cart and then see if I get free shipping. And then if I do, maybe I would cut down, like, I would just like to know what the threshold was.
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
But maybe they want to keep me in suspense. Maybe they do want me to kind of wonder about it, and that's fine. Yeah. I respect a little mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I did notice on the shopping cart too, you don't have to go back, but just that they did offer in-store pickup, which I think for local businesses, to have that option, because people might be thinking they're going to pick it up, versus having it shipped. And then if they didn't see that option, if it is an option, so I thought that was good that they showed that on there. It was pretty clear that was an option. So.
Yeah, I just clicked on the sale to see what was on sale. I like a bargain.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it looks like they have a nice like selection of multiple products. So
it's nice and easy, navigable. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just want to click on this rewards thing because I'm kind of curious about that. Oh. So it's doing the point thing. I can become a member and I can get points and redeem them for some loyalty. So that's an awesome way to. Yeah, it's nice to retain. It's nice to retain people, especially if you've spent time and effort getting them to your website. It's nice to get them to be invested in maybe being a future customer again. So
we could do a whole segment on that, right? As far as reward programs that are working. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So very cool. All right, let's. Should we check out a touch of grace?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a touch of grace.
So first of all, I thought it was really cool because I've never seen this before that you can, and this is probably just because I haven't needed a wedding gown in in decades now, but that you can order a wedding dress online. That was sort of interesting to me in the first place. So
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so and they're giving us, I like this because they're like, this is not going to be a say yes to the dress. What's that designer that's always the dress they pick that's like $10,000? Anyway,
yeah, don't ask me
it's
what
not
designer
that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going to remember it the second this broadcast is over. But they're like prepared. They're like, hey, I appreciate this pricing because it lets me know whether I should spend time browsing or not. I appreciate a range.
Yeah, I agree. That's fantastic to just put it out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to commit to a certain price. You can even say starting at $500. Now, I was really cheap for the 5 seconds I was married, and I did not want to spend more than $500 on a dress. So I would see that and be like, "Oh no, I'm good." But
yeah.
Nice.
So for one, I think her images are really nice. They're all very consistent and easy to look at too. Just with the product descriptions and everything. I think that's nice to start with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. If you have a wholesale, if you have a retail store, your wholesaler might have images that you can use. I'm doubting that maybe they did stage this, but they might have images that you can use to start off with. And then as you have brides and customers who submit pictures, you can add them maybe as additional pictures. So sure, this is an idealized like plain background, whatever. But if they got, and I can see the back, I appreciate that because the back is
for
important.
Sure. Oh, especially with a wedding gown, right?
Yeah, they see you coming and going. So, and I can zoom in. That's nice. But if they had, like I said, they had a bride who bought this dress, they could, post pictures of this is what it looks like on other people. That would be really fun. But I like seeing
wedding or something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like seeing it from multiple angles. It really gives me an idea of what this dress is like. And they have a side.
We're so used to that zoom option on Amazon now too, like you showed that's
right.
Yeah.
Well, and with a wedding dress, right? Like the fabric is important and the texture is important. So, this works well. I think this is Shopify as well. I remember looking. Yeah, powered by Shopify. Yeah, this is Shopify as well. So the two websites we just looked at are running the same software, but they look very different. So you do have a lot of customization options. And look, we have add to cart or buy with PayPal. And there's more payment options. I'm wondering if, since this is a higher price item, if they have a payment plan. I'm kind of curious about that. Because sometimes I really love it when you go on like a retail website and it's like a $50 sweatshirt and they're like, oh, do you want to put this on a payment plan and pay like $3 a month for like 6 months? It's like, no,
it's crazy what the options are out there.
Yeah, it really is. But at the very, I thought it was going to tell me more ways to pay, but it's going to make me go to the payment screen. I don't want to do that, but
okay.
But yeah, and I'm just seeing. I meant to check the other one. Which is seeing if it had
like before when I was looking at it, there was like this before when you chose something to add to cart, it did like a pop-up window of it and kind of confirmed that it was. I kind of liked that feature too, just because it seemed very like, yep, this is in your cart now, and you may not want to go there yet, but I thought it was kind of a cool way of doing it that I don't see much either.
Right. But because sometimes what happens, you add it to the cart and it just refreshes and you're like, okay.
Did that go in there? Did it
there?
Yeah.
Which is why I like it when it has like a little number, either whether it's a little shopping cart or whether it's a little bag, that there's a number.
Absolutely.
And it tells you that there's one thing in there, or there's 3 things in there or whatever.
Super important. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it looks like it's nice too that you can filter by the silhouette, which is I think how most people shop for wedding dresses. Like they have an idea of, again, my knowledge of wedding dress shopping comes from watching Say Yes to the Dress. Like that is my depth of wedding dress shopping. So, but it sounds like most people when they come in, the first thing they ask them is like what their budget is and then what kind of silhouette or kinds of things they're looking for. So that makes sense to sort of
do it online too.
Yeah, cool. Definitely. And it looks like you can, that's the other thing too, is like you can sort, by different criteria. I read a tweet once that was like, sometimes I like to pretend I'm like a king and I just go to the top and I sort price high to low.
Highest, just to see what kind of money I could spend. It's funny.
Right. But it's nice to give people a way to kind of like, to look at the site. And then as somebody who owns the site, you can look at the stats and maybe people are looking for certain things or browsing a certain way, and then you can set things up in a way that makes it easier for them. Oh, look.
So how do you go in and look at that, Nicole?
Oh, you mean like how I would see like how people are looking at stuff? It would be in your website stats of whatever. Yeah. So most of these builders, whether it's Shopify or Wix or whatever, have their own panel. And like I said, I just grabbed like a second ago, like what the screen like would look like. So like this is just the online conversion portion of the stats in Shopify, but there's tons of other metrics too. And so you can, pull reports, monthly, quarterly, and just kind of look for, you can see sometimes words people are typing into your website search. You can see what area of the world people are in when they're browsing. I mean, you can see a lot of data. And if people are interested, we can do a whole thing about sort of website analytics if you guys want. So if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to leave a comment. We can totally.
No, it's a really good idea too, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's go on. Should we go on to our third example? Or is there anything else about it? Because I didn't necessarily notice everything about this. I'm just going to say one thing here, which is, wedding dresses, like I'm not engaged in or married at this point. I'm not ready to buy a wedding dress. I mean, if I just bought one, that would be a little weird. But maybe I want to just remember that this company exists, but I'm not ready to buy yet. It is nice to give people some kind of newsletter option, because what I can do is put my email in, and then if I get to the point where I'm like ready to get married, like these people continue to be on my radar, even though I went to their website, that one time. So give people an option if they're not ready to buy, for them to stay in touch with you, because they might become buyers in the future, especially if it's a larger ticket item, or a specific item like a wedding dress. Like people just are not in the market for that all the time. You're in the market for that at a very specific time in your life, or you really like wedding dresses. So this is this is the third thing. And Eric, thanks so much for pulling these together, by the way. Like, it's really nice to see like the variety of what's out there. This is Tawny, and they've got a shop.
So that's my first thing that I like, is that shop button in the the red shop button right there on the homepage. Yeah.
Yes.
Now you can shop online with us, right? Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing, is like most people maybe wouldn't think that an arts organization has a shopping cart, so you do have to tell them that you have a cart and make it obvious. I call it stupid buttons. It's not that people are stupid, but like, like they're stupid noticeable. Like you just can't miss them. And they work really well. So let's see. Okay. So we can browse by products. We can search the store. So if I knew I was looking for something, so maybe, I clicked on collections all. Whoops, it's going there. So there we go. Oh, this is interesting. I like, so if you're an artist, I really like this because it shows like what's possible. You know what I mean? Like, so this piece of artwork sold, but let's say that I really liked it. Maybe I'll contact the artist or whatever and see if I can get another print or something like that. It just gives people an idea of like, of what is possible, even if it is not available in that moment. So that's really nice for artists in particular, because, you do sell your work. And I have artists who are like, well, I sold that, but I kind of want to show people like the kind of thing I can do. And so you can either put sold, or sometimes people put the little red dots, like, like they do at an actual art show when they sell something, so you can make it so there's a little red dot over the thing or something. But
and that's always attractive to customers, right? Like, okay, there's these things are great products that they're selling. Yeah.
Right. And it does that same thing, which is it communicates that, don't worry, we're not going to steal your identity. Other people have made purchases on this site. It's cool. And look, this is also Shopify.
Yeah. So it is.
Look at how different all three of these websites look, though, and they're all the same software. So, so just keep that in mind. If you're watching this, is that, my friend Matt calls it, you bake the cake and then you ice it. So you bake the cake by putting all your products in, and the icing is like, the colors, the fonts and all that. And typically you have a lot of options with icing. As long as you like what the cake is made out of, you can ice it to make it look pretty much any way that you want.
And we're not touting Shopify over any other.
No. This just happened to be 4 of them. But we're not endorsing any particular software. I guess what I'm saying is we just saw 3 very different examples that are running the exact same software. To just keep in mind that, picking the software, while important in terms of looks and even in terms of function, a lot of them have that same basic functionality of,
and I'm noticing too that this is a Shopify site, but there's an actual cart, like an Amazon cart, up to the right. So you have that option if you use Shopify to have a shopping bag or cart, or I don't know what else. Yeah. So
Well, it's an icon. You could change this to whatever, but obviously we want something that looks like an online shopping cart, right? We don't want to be like, oh, click on the little sunshine or something. People would be like, what is that? Like, so we can, this is technically an icon, and as a web developer, we can change that to whatever, but we also want people to understand what it is. So that's why we make the same choices. It's not that we're not creative. It's that we don't want people to be confused. But I like this too, for the same reason I liked, obviously wedding dresses don't come in a variety of price points, but I can buy stuff here for $20 or $25. And there's so many people around the holidays that you're buying for in that kind of lower price point. So it's nice to have options, as much as I love, my mailman or my hairdresser, I'm not going to buy them, I don't know, a Yeti cooler or something. Yeah. Like, I wish if I had Jeff Bezos money, I would do that. But most of us have to kind of make some affordable choices.
Yeah. So I think too, we have to remember, like, how nice is it? We're so used to shopping online now to be able to shop locally online, right? I mean, that's huge. So I noticed you're under products, I think, but they also had a nice listing of sort of by department, I think, under, or artists. So you've got a really nice, ability to kind of, if you're looking specifically for candles, you have that way to do that, or you have your favorite artist. So you've done a good job that way too.
Yeah. And as an artist, maybe you don't have your own website. So this is something that Tawny can offer to artists to say, hey, you can have your own page. So I know Catherine has her own online store, but if she wanted to just link to this, she could do that as well.
It's like your local Etsy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, anybody who's watching this, if you know of a Northern New York business that has an online store, will you please leave it as a comment below this video? That way we can see it too. because it's really nice to know, it's nice to know who's out there, and the people watching this video might appreciate knowing that too. But yeah. Oh, this is great. I mean, it looks like they have literally hundreds of products on here, maybe thousands.
If you try selecting a product too, Nicole, I just want to.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think it does the pop-up thing too.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning the pop-up thing. Let's see.
Yeah. I just like that feature. Oh, it didn't do it.
No, I haven't added it to the cart yet, though.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's when it does it then. Yes. There you go.
Special instructions for the seller. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I want a special little note with it, or maybe I don't know, maybe I only need it sent, the first week of December. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of a cool little feature, and just that you can see your cart right to the right without having to go to it. I kind of, I like that. I don't see that a lot. Not really.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason that people have gotten rid of doing things to the side is that when we're on a mobile device,
true,
like everything kind of gets pushed into the middle, really. And either elements have to disappear or you have to stack them. So just try to make it so that you're not. And the other thing you can do though is you can say in the desktop version of a website, make it do this, and on the mobile version, make it do that. I was
gonna say that's an option now. Yeah, as far as how it comes up.
And I like that this, this is nice too. Like, so if I like this particular product, I can share it on my I can click share, and it'll let me share it on my Facebook page, on my Facebook profile. So, and that's nice too, because sometimes, let's say I like this and I want somebody to buy it for me for the holidays. I could open it up in Facebook, and I could, tag somebody or whatever, so.
Right. Yep. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm always looking for ways I can get myself some gifts. Oops, there we go. Apparently I clicked on the wrong button there.
And I think all of those sites were offering PayPal or some kind of different payment option. I'm almost positive all of them were. Yeah.
Totally. And I might just throw this on the screen really quick in case anybody, I don't know, doesn't want to watch the whole broadcast. You can just screenshot it if you want to talk to your web developer about this stuff, or if you want to kind of put it on the list and maybe pick one that you're going to implement for the holiday season. I would say, a lot of these might simply be something that has to be turned on. For example, the ability to accept PayPal. Obviously, you have to make a PayPal account. So there's that step, but then it's a matter on your cart of just turning that on, or, abandoned cart emails. That might be something you can turn on. So there are some things that are a little bit less technical and involved to set up. There's some things that are a little bit of math, like, okay, what do I need to, how much money do I need to make to really offer free shipping without, going to the poorhouse? And then there are some things that are a little bit more technical or a little bit more involved that you have to talk to other people about. And you can save those for later. But point being is we just want to iterate toward better and better things with our business, and our online shopping cart is one of them. And I think this year has proved, or the last 2 years at this point, have proved that people want to buy local online. And so if you're a business willing to do that, maybe you don't want to put all your products there, but maybe you want to put some, most of them or some of them. It really, think about, people who are connected to the area who've moved away. That gives them a chance to shop at your store without physically being there. People who have relatives in the area, so on my own website, it's like an online, business sort of directory. So I see parents buying stuff for their college kids in the area. I see, people whose grandparents or parents live in the area, and they're in California, they're buying it for their parents or their grandparents. I see people who are connected to the area. I recognize their name, but they have an address somewhere else. So they want a little something from home. So, there's really good reasons to set this up, and you don't need, we don't need to be, I don't know, these giant businesses with thousands of customers for people to want to shop in our online store.
Yeah, the technology is there to help. And I think even if it's just before this holiday, just, there's a huge argument for at least getting a gift card or gift certificate up so that, people who are far away can purchase, from you. So, and do it locally.
Yeah, and we did do a broadcast a couple of weeks ago about gift cards and gift certificates. So if you're watching this and saying, oh, I kind of want to do that, what are my options there? Wherever you're watching this now, the past videos, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, are on this channel. So, go check those out. if you want to learn kind of more about these different things. And I don't know. Yeah, I guess we didn't have any time for questions today, Erica, but we've got some maybe for next time. Is there anything else that you want to say about shopping online or online shopping carts locally before we close out?
I think just, even if, even if you feel like you're technologically challenged, is to try not to be afraid of it and figure out, really kind of analyze, what will work for your store now, what do you want to work on next year to get either your shopping cart going, your online store going, or, enhanced, like you said today, and you were giving some really great ideas to try to get that conversion rate up if it needs to be. I just encourage everybody to try not to be fearful of it, and it's kind of those baby steps, right? And then all of a sudden you've got an online store. So
yeah. And like I said, nobody expects perfection. We're all small business owners. And so if you're watching this and you're thinking, wow, I need to get on this, just contact the Watertown Oswego SBDC. The number is on the screen. You can also go to the website and you can book a counseling appointment there. If you don't have an SBDC counselor, they'll hook you up. It's completely free. And so these are all the different ways you can connect with the Watertown SBDC on different social media platforms and also on their website and via the phone. So set up an appointment with a counselor and get yourself organized, and don't feel like you have to do everything at once. It's not that. We just wanted to kind of put some ideas out there as to how this could work. So thanks everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Monday at noon, right where you're watching this now on Facebook and YouTube on the Watertown SBDC's Facebook and YouTube channels. So take care, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, Nicole, and have a good week, everybody.
Thanks, Erica. You too.